On today's installment of the Letterboard of Truth, our quote of the day is, "Damn, that's crazy." You know, sometimes that's all there is to say. Surely is crazy. And you know one place that is crazy? r/AmITheDevil, which is the subreddit we'll be going through today. AmITheDevil is similar to r/AmITheAhole since they both contain posts about interpersonal conflicts. But unlike r/AmITheAhole, we won't be deciding if these people are bad or not. We'll be going into this knowing they are the worst and seeing why they are the worst, or the devil in this case. I have a variety of stories to share with you today, and I know you're gonna have a lot to say, so I'm looking forward to reading all your thoughts. That being said, let's just jump into it. Alright, here's the first post. Today I f***ed up by forgetting to transition to today's sponsor. That's dumb. See, the thing about me is that I never do that. It's 2024 sinners, which means it's out with the old and in with the new. And that includes your underwear. I know it's hard, but it's time. Safe to say, I need an upgrade, which is why I'm so grateful to be working with Parade for today's video. Parade is a company that's revolutionized the underwear category with their stylish and sustainable designs. They're determined to make products that encourage you to express yourself. I have a few pieces from Parade to show you, and this is just a little taste of what they have to offer. First, I got a pair of sheer comfort boxer briefs in the color tartan haze, made with a silky mesh fabric. Parade's silky mesh fabric is made from rescued materials usually wasted in the production process. I love a good pair of boxer briefs, so between that and this funky pattern that caught my eye, I was sold. Their Luxe Mesh Scoop Bralette is also made with silky mesh fabric. Both of these products feel so lightweight and comfortable, especially the Scoop Bralette. I also got Parade's Dream Fit Triangle Bralette. The replay fabric used to make this is also made from rescued materials that would otherwise be wasted in the production process. I haven't had good luck with bralettes in the past, I just never found one that fit me well, so I was pleasantly surprised at how much I love wearing these two. Finally, I got a second pair of boxer briefs, which are just as nice as the first pair, but these are made with cotton. And what's special about Parade's new cotton is the fact that it's upcycled and made using 95% less water than traditional cotton. I feel so good when wearing Parade's undergarments, not only because they're so comfortable, but also because I know I'm supporting a company that's making a consistent effort to practice sustainability. Parade has so much to choose from, and I have no doubt you'll find something you'll like. So make sure you head on over to Parade's website and use my code Annamarie50 at checkout to get 50% off site-wide. Yes, you heard that right. Half off site-wide with no minimum purchase. But that's only if you use my code Annamarie50 or if you click the link in my description. Thank you to Parade for supporting the channel. Now let's get back to your scheduled programming. All right, I tricked ya. Now we're actually gonna read some stories from r/AmITheDevil. This first story was cross-posted from r/AmITheAsshole, and the title reads, "Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend I didn't think she was the type of girl to want me to buy her stuff for Valentine's?" Now that's a guy who loves and cherishes his partner. I know Valentine's Day will have come and gone by the time this is posted, but clearly love is still in the air. Let's see what OP has to say. "My 29M girlfriend 25F and I have been together since March of last year, so almost a year. She is not super materialistic and not really into going to fancy restaurants or spending money on designer clothes and such. I often cook for her and go out of my way to make her feel special and loved. However, the other day she brought up Valentine's Day and asked me if I have anything planned. I have never been one to celebrate Valentine's Day. I don't think I need to spend money just to prove I love my girlfriend. I told her this and I thought she would agree with me, but she said that she would like it if I got her a gift and if we went out to a nice restaurant. I'm working on paying off student loans, and she knows I don't have very much money to spend on gifts and fancy dinners. She's an artistic, sort of quirky girl, and honestly, I didn't think she was the type to want me to shell out the big bucks and take her to some overpriced crowded steakhouse for a manufactured holiday. It really made me view her differently. I told her, I'm surprised. I really didn't think you were that kind of girl. She went quiet after I said that and then later accused me of judging her for wanting to celebrate Valentine's. We haven't brought it up again, but I can feel she is still a bit upset about it. Am I the asshole? Okay, first off, does this guy know that literally every holiday is manufactured? Everything that we celebrate was made up by someone else. And I would agree, Valentine's Day is very manufactured. Businesses want you to buy candy and roses and gifts for your Valentine because they want to make money. But that's not just exclusive to Valentine's Day, because you could argue that other holidays are very manufactured. I mean, like I said, they literally all are. Someone made them up. But anyway, that's not the point of this post. From my interpretation, it seems that OP thinks that money is a measure of love when that really isn't the case, or shouldn't be the case at least. Sure, I think it's lovely if you want to splurge on a gift for your partner every now and then, maybe for like a special event, like an anniversary, birthday, Christmas, whatever the case may be, but that's not a requirement to maintain a healthy connection with them. I don't know, to me, it just seems like OP was looking for an excuse not to celebrate Valentine's Day with his girlfriend. If celebrating Valentine's Day would make your girlfriend feel special and make her feel happy, then as her boyfriend, why wouldn't you want to make her feel that way? And he literally says he often cooks dinner for her, so why not make her her favorite meal? You know, set up the dining room table all nice, get a candle, get a couple roses, get a tablecloth, and just have a nice night in together. OP's girlfriend wanting to celebrate Valentine's Day with him doesn't make her like materialistic or anything like that. It means she just wants to celebrate her love with her boyfriend on the day of love, and she wants to just like do something nice with him. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It doesn't even seem like OP asked his girlfriend what she wanted to do for Valentine's Day. Like, he made all these big assumptions that she wants to go to this fancy, expensive restaurant and get all these gifts, when literally she said none of that. She said nothing. You literally didn't ask her what she wanted to do. You think when their anniversary comes up, he's gonna be like, that's a manufactured day. Time isn't even real, babe. Come on, man. It's one day. You say you have no problem making her feel special every other day of the year, so like, what makes February 14th different? But yeah, the overwhelming vote was that he is the asshole, and I couldn't agree more. I guess like my final thoughts is that like, if an opportunity comes up where you can make your partner feel happy, why wouldn't you want to take it? And I'm going to leave it at that. This next post is also from r/AmITheAsshole, and OP is asking, am I the asshole for not wanting to wake up at 6:30 a.m. instead of 8 a.m. to help my wife get our son ready in the morning? Ooh, all right. Let's see about that. We have 2 kids and we both work. My wife has to wake up at 6:30 a.m. to take our son to school, but she also has to give him his ADHD medication, which he throws a fit and refuses to take. I also work and have to get my daughter ready for school by 9 a.m. My wife is asking me to wake up at 6:30 a.m. to start giving my son his ADHD medication because he puts up a huge fight every morning to take it. Is it fair that now I'm the one who has to wake up at 6:30 a.m. instead of 8 a.m., lose an hour and a half of sleep, and get both kids ready in the morning? I'm now forced to go to sleep an hour and a half earlier and get both kids ready in the morning while my wife just gets herself ready. Am I the asshole for complaining about this?
That's f***ed up, man. I mean, like, your wife sounds like a bitch, dude.
I don't know, man. It sounds like your wife is sick of having to get 3 kids ready in the morning. I don't know, like, why he's surprised or upset about the fact that when you become a parent, you have to parent. It takes 2 to tango. This is literally what you sign up for when you go and tango with your spouse and make a biological child. That was a weird way of saying that, but like, he's making it sound that if he has to wake up earlier, that means his wife won't be doing anything and he'll have to do all the work. You're also there and you're fully capable of getting your ass up an hour and a half earlier and helping your wife take care of your kids, helping with breakfast, with the ADHD medication. I'm not a parent, but like, I don't doubt that kids are difficult, especially when you're trying to get them up in the morning, and especially when you have a child that is neurodivergent and has different needs. But like I said, that's what you sign up for when you become a parent. I notice a trend with certain dads in particular where they view helping out with the children as a favor, when really they're half your DNA and you're also just as responsible for them, and it's not just your wife's job to take care of them, if that makes sense. Also, and I could be making assumptions here, why does OP seem like the type of guy to weaponize his incompetence to the point where his wife will just be like, I'll take care of the kids, I'll get them ready, and then he winds up going back to waking up at 8 a.m. But I have a potential solution for this couple. Granted, I don't know their exact living situation, I don't know when they go to work, but it seems like they wake up at a regular time every day, so they probably have a regular work schedule. But if you really need to sleep in until 8 a.m., why not just alternate the days or alternate weeks where you're getting up at 6:30, she's getting up at 6:30? Try to find a compromise if you really need to. Even then, in my opinion, I think that's a little dumb because you should be helping out with your kids. You should be putting in equal effort with the child care and helping your wife. Yeah, this guy just seems like he's pissed he has to be a parent. Tough. That's all I have to say. But I'm not a parent, so take my advice with a grain of salt. Moving on. So this next post is also from r/AmITheAsshole. It seems that I've only picked posts from that subreddit unintentionally. This was posted 3 days ago at the time of recording, and it was actually deleted since then. So you know it's gonna be juicy. But thankfully the internet is forever, and someone managed to copy it into the r/AmITheDevil subreddit. So we still got access to what you said. OP, you can't go run and hide. That sounded very ominous. I sounded like a supervillain for a sec.
You can't go run and hide.
The title is, Am I the Asshole for Going on a Hiking Trip with My Pregnant Wife? Seems innocent enough, but I've noticed that the posts with the most tame titles tend to be the worst ones, so I am prepared to hate this guy. Over the weekend, my wife and I went on a hiking trip with some of my friends. We've always been active people, but it kind of seems like my wife, who's 6 months pregnant, has sort of turned into a couch potato in recent weeks. I wonder why. There can't possibly be an explanation as to why she's gotten more sedentary. It's caused her to gain a bit of weight and become moody, so I figured some exercise would be good for her and for me. Well, I thought I picked a pretty easy hike. It's a trail that's close to our house and not that long, about 3 miles out and back, but it can be a bit steep in places. She's done it before, so it couldn't have been too much of a surprise. Yeah, she probably did it when she wasn't 6 months pregnant, sir. What's not clicking? Anyway, I'm getting too mad already. Anyway, well, we were about a third of the way done when my wife started huffing and puffing. My friend slowed down to accommodate her, so I decided to slow down too. You didn't even initiate the slowing down. You didn't even try to make sure your wife can keep up with you. It seems like your friends were more attentive than you were. Again, I'm getting pissed off already. I need to calm down. After a mile of the huffing and puffing, my wife looked pretty bad. Jesus Christmas. She got really pale and was hunched over on one side of the trail. I was sort of shocked to see her in this state. She had let herself go recently, but I didn't think she would lose her fitness this quickly. Sir, your wife is literally with child. Is he aware of how much of a toll pregnancy takes on the body? Obviously she's not going to be as fit as she was 6 months ago. She's dealing with physically carrying the child, as well as dealing with the hormones, the cravings, the mood swings, the swollen feet and ankles, and whatever else comes with pregnancy. Also, if I didn't mention, carrying your baby. However, a few minutes later, she actually started to throw up, and it was at this point that we all decided to head back. Fucking took you long enough. I'm fully aware that she's going to deliver a baby in 3 months, but I can't help but think that she wouldn't have embarrassed me in front of my friends if she had kept up her exercise routine. This can't be a real guy. I'm just gonna assume this post is fake for my own sake. We both ate the same food at breakfast, and I never got sick, so that couldn't be it either. What do you? All right. We got back to the parking lot, and I apologized for my wife's behavior to my friends. I thought I was out of earshot, but apparently my wife heard the whole thing. I hate this man. When I got back to the car, she went nuts. She told me that I was an idiot for thinking she could keep up at our normal pace, and that I was a grade A asshole for insinuating that my wife had thrown up on purpose. I love her. I listened to her rant at me before politely asking if she thought she would have felt so sick if she hadn't been a couch potato recently, but she refused to engage with me at all. I wanted it to dawn on her that she was at least partially to blame for this, but she refused to take any responsibility. This happened on Saturday, and even today she has been really tense. It's as if she's holding a grudge against me, and I don't know how to get her to stop. She's really making me sad with this horrible treatment. Am I the asshole? Oh, we got a little sad boy on our hands. Oh, OP is so sad because his wife is so fat and lazy and pregnant. You are absolutely a grade A asshole, if I haven't made that clear enough. OP's wife seems like an overall very active person, even mid-pregnancy. But again, pregnancy wreaks havoc on the body. She is not going to be the same person physically she was pre-pregnancy. Even post-pregnancy, it takes a while for some people to bounce back. Like, I get making sure that she stays active and keeps moving because overall being active throughout the day is good, but like, do it in an accessible way for her. Do it in a way that's more realistic and doesn't cause her to throw up and huff and puff and look pretty bad. That's crazy that he actually said that. Instead of showing concern for your wife, all you can do is think about yourself and your own ego and reputation. And like, it's hard for me to believe that your friends wouldn't be understanding if your pregnant wife got sick on your hiking trip. Like, unless if they were grade A assholes like you, I'm sure they were more than sympathetic towards her. Probably more sympathetic than you, OP. Freaking dimwit. Your wife deserves better. So like, in 4, 5, 6 months from now, when you have a screaming newborn in your possession, are you gonna get mad at your wife for gaining weight and being a couch potato when she's taking care of your infant child? When she's up until 3 a.m, rocking them and putting them to sleep and changing diapers and stuff like that? This is the easy part, sir. It's only gonna get harder from here. He's gonna turn into the dad from last post who doesn't want to wake up early for his kids. Guys, you gotta do better. I'm embarrassed for you. And just like the wife from the last post, OP's wife in this third post will also be raising an additional child. Unless she runs and never looks back, which, if she did that, I wouldn't blame her, because I feel like this kind of behavior is a major red flag, and I feel like this permeates into other areas of their relationship. I'm going to stop here. I don't want to make too many guesses about their relationship, so we're going to move on. All right, so along with the Am I the Asshole post, I keep on picking stories about parents and children. I don't know, that was an unintentional theme today, but this person wants to know, am I the asshole for giving away my daughter's friend's last chicken tender? Probably, but we'll see. My husband, 41, and I, 40, have 5 daughters: Avery, Bella, Cassie, Daria, and Emily. The 3 middle girls are good friends with an autistic girl, Jenny, who regularly comes over to play with them. We've also included Jenny in plenty of family outings, ranging from the beach to bowling to amusement parks. Jenny's mom has done the same for my girls, only she takes them with her one at a time, as she's also autistic and not used to caring for multiple children since Jenny's an only child. We had Jenny over for a sleepover this weekend and took her out for lunch. Jenny and Daria ordered the same meal: chicken tenders and french fries, classic. And I noticed that Daria finished her chicken before eating her fries, and Jenny ate all but one before moving on to her fries. About halfway through the meal, Avery had to go to the bathroom and offered to take the younger kids with her if they needed to go. Bella, Cassie, Daria, and Jenny went to the bathroom with Avery while my husband and I stayed at the table with Emily. While the older girls were gone, I saw that Jenny still hadn't eaten her last chicken tender, and assuming she wasn't going to eat it, gave it to Emily, who ate a little more than half of it before her sisters and Jenny returned. After sitting down, Jenny noticed her chicken was gone and asked what happened to it. I told her, you weren't eating it, so Emily ate it. She said she was saving it for last and looked like she was about to have a meltdown, which I still have yet to deal with in public, so I took the little piece of chicken Emily didn't eat and gave it back to her, but she refused to eat it because it had baby germs on it. I mean, yeah. When Jenny's mom came to pick her up later that day, she told her mother about it. Her mom called me inconsiderate and said I should have waited for her to return and asked her before giving it away, and told me that she often saves certain foods for last too, must be an autistic thing, before having Jenny say goodbye to my girls and leaving. My husband and I talked about this, and he said he agrees with Jenny's mom's point about asking her first. I think she overreacted and the kids haven't brought it up. Now that the weekend's over, my husband suggested I take this to Reddit for an unbiased opinion, so here I am. With peace and love to OP, if you want an unbiased opinion, Reddit is the last place to go. I don't understand the logic behind some of these Redditors' actions. Like, instead of talking out your situation with the people involved, why is the next step, hey, let's ask Reddit. Let's ask a bunch of internet strangers their opinions. But you know what? I'm going to give my opinion. One of the top comments is talking about how saying it must be an autistic thing towards the end is wrong. And I have to agree. I don't know what that has to do with being autistic. The only thing I could think of with why it would relate to autism is that a lot of autistic people stick to routines, and if something goes wrong or if plans change, they don't like that. So maybe that's where OP is coming from. But like, even so, whether Jenny is autistic or not, she's not your kid. That is not your place to take food off her plate. If it was one of Emily's siblings, then maybe, but even so, I would still ask the daughter in question or the person in question if they were done with their food before taking it. Also, you gotta love how OP tries to remove herself from the situation. And when Jenny asks where her chicken went, she's like, oh, Emily took it. That's where it went, not, oh, I gave it to Emily. Like, that's your fault. Emily didn't take it from Jenny's plate. You took it from Jenny's plate. You're literally blaming your 1-year-old kid. How pathetic is that? At the very least, she could have asked Jenny if she was finished. Otherwise, just leave it be. It is Jenny's food at the end of the day. I mean, we also have to remember that children are still people and they also deserve respect and consideration. They're not just there for you to boss around or do whatever you want. OP is absolutely the asshole in this situation, and she also owes Jenny a chicken finger. If I was Jenny's mom, I would not trust my daughter with OP ever again. I don't mean to name call, but like, this is weird behavior. And the fact that you can't even take responsibility for this even after a couple days passed, even after you talk to Jenny's mom, is crazy. So shout out to Jenny. I hope you get your chicken tender. I hope every chicken tender Jenny eats going forward is the best chicken tender of her life. But we're gonna move on to the last story. And if you're like me right now and your blood pressure is slowly going through the roof, I promise it won't be like that much longer. We have one more story to get through. We can do it. I know we can. Am I the asshole? My friend is mad at me because apparently belittled her at her birthday party. Who belittled her at her birthday party? This is a throwaway account. It always is. Be brave. Posted on Maine. I, 24F, went to my friend 25F Shelly's fake name birthday last week. Since then, my whole friend group has been bombarding me with messages telling me how I was rude and ruined my friend's birthday. I mean, it's one thing if one friend was saying it, but the fact that the whole friend group is saying it might be telling. I'm an avid reader and am really into classics and have frequently tried to get Shelby into reading them, but she always says she doesn't have enough time because she works 2 jobs and has a 9-month-old, which I think is a shitty excuse for being ignorant to learn. I'm gonna bite my tongue right now. While we were all sat down at dinner, we took it in turns to give Shelly our presents. One of her old college friends gave her a hardback guided copy of The Great Gatsby, which by coincidence happens to be my favorite book. Shelly thanked her for the gift and we were all talking about the book, and I joked that she should regift it to me for my birthday because it's not like she's going to read it. Shelly then asked what I meant by that, and I responded that the language might be too difficult to understand for someone as simple as her. Shelly blew up at me, saying how I always make snide remarks about her intelligence. I had no idea what she was talking about and told her she was being irrational. She then kicked me out of her birthday party, and all of my friends are telling me to apologize to Shelly, but I don't think I should because I don't think I did anything wrong, but I thought I should get another opinion anyway. So Reddit, am I the asshole? Like I said, if the whole friend group is telling you that you were in the wrong, maybe it's time for some self-reflection. But we need to run a poll in the comments, all right? Who is more annoying? Classic literature fans or dark romance fans from Book Talk? I think that's going to be a tight race. So I'm eager to hear what you have to say. As a reader, you should just be happy that other people are reading regardless of what they're reading. First of all, I hate the condescending tone OP has when she described how Shelly has no time to read and learn because she has a kid and she works 2 jobs. Like, I'm sorry, that is obviously going to take up 90% of someone's time, and I don't blame Shelly for not wanting to read and rest in her free time. You gotta be understanding of people's situations. Like, I get it. You want to share your favorite books. You want to encourage other people to read, but like, awareness. Maybe be like a little more aware, a little more empathetic to Shelly's situation. And I get it. There's like the concept, oh, you can make time, but like, it sounds like Shelly lives a very busy life and maybe reading is not at the top of her priorities. You know, it sounds like she's a hardworking woman. We love Shelly here. But then we see Shelly got The Great Gatsby as a gift for her birthday. I don't know like the significance of The Great Gatsby specifically. OP says it's her favorite book. I think a better way to have responded to the situation was like, if it's your favorite book, why not like hype it up to Shelly and get her excited to read it and like share the love with her? I don't know, like when I read a good book, I enjoy telling people about it and encouraging them to read it instead of like in this situation where OP's making it all about herself and saying like, oh, like I should take the book because you're too stupid to read it. So give it to me because I want to read it. Like, she's really selling Shelly short here. Like, Shelly's doing her best. She's raising a kid. She's working 2 jobs to provide for her kid. Like, Shelly sounds like a badass. And to just boil Shelly down to being ignorant and not smart is just really toxic and wrong, especially when you're supposed to be her friend. And it seems like this is a pattern because Shelly even said that OP's always insulting her intelligence. It seems like Shelly needs a new friend, and it seems like OP needs to take a step back from the friend group and consider why she needs to tear down others in her life in order to make herself feel special. It seems like an awful lot of projection onto Shelly when, you know, like I said, Shelly's just doing her best. I really hope this is a troll. Some people in the comments were saying that it might be. OP, you're something. All right. Well, that's r/AmITheDevil for you. I am just always amazed at the end of these videos with how much self-awareness these people don't have. But I'm very eager to hear what you have to say about the stories I just read to you. So please leave any and all your thoughts down below. And in general, if there's anything you'd like to see me talk about going forward, I have a Google form linked in the description where you could submit your video ideas. But thank you so much for watching today's video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a tiny thumbs up and subscribe down below. Thank you to Parade for sponsoring today's video. I love you guys, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!